What's a secret you can only share with online strangers? Sometimes when my medical issues are acting up I can't even remember my husband's name. Not much of a secret. But my dad lied about having a family to my mom. My dad is still in the picture. But we're like the secondary family. It took 25 years for me to finally meet one of my brothers from my dad's side. He seems to be the only one who half-heartedly wanted to meet me. The rest don't seem to care too much about my existence. Never told my parents I had stage 1 cancer. Both were barely sober and would have jumped off the wagon head first. Brightside Doc got it all. Edit. Thank you for the awards and thank you all. About 10 years ago, I stole my bully's phone and threw it off a building. He still doesn't know what happened to his phone. When I was with my host family, it was honestly the only year of my life I felt like a part of a family. I miss them so much. I obsess about being able to start life over in another time, to the point where I feel this life is not worth bothering about. There is a video of me being interviewed by Tulsa Channel 9 News where I'm drunk wearing a beer-soaked crop top tank top Oxford shirt being asked about my opinion on beer being sold in Boone Pickens Stadium. Not my finest moment. Late response. I honestly have no idea where if there is a link of this incident. They might have saved the footage, stored it somewhere, and IDK where to find it. Also, it was Tulsa News 9, not Channel 9 News. Another late response. Apparently. I can't remember the news station, but I remember a prominent white 9 on a red square background on the mic. Honestly could have been KTUL8, but I was f-king plastered that day. I have friends that have paid me to record them having sex. You guys get paid? I kind of dislike my best friend. We've known each other a long time. And we're both in unfortunate circumstances. But I'm trying to change mine. He isn't trying to change his. He just rages about how unfair his life is. I've offered all the help I can. But he never takes me up on it. And being his shoulder to cry on can be exhausting. He can be a very negative person. And so can I. But I'm trying to be less so. But it's easy to slip back into negativity when I'm around him. It's all very frustrating sometimes. Edit. Thank you so much for the award. A big hug back to everyone who has given me advice and or been in a similar situation. I feel relieved whenever I get sick. I have major depression and anxiety problems. And being physically ill is just something people understand better. I don't know how to explain it. Edit. Holy shit. I didn't honestly think this many people could relate. It's comforting I'm not alone, but also makes me feel sad. Check on your friends. Friends. We aren't doing okay. I'm inadvertently ruining my marriage because I'm terrified I'm going to ruin it. Just how f-king lonely I am. Of course no one wants to hear it. They blow smoke up your ass or repeat catchy phrases. I have no friends or anyone I talk to outside of co-workers. I had a bad breakup last year and pretty much no luck since. Edit. Thanks for all the awards and kind words. It helps a little. Was not expecting like 4k in upvotes. But I guess that goes to show I'm not alone in my loneliness. I created multiple accounts on Reddit to upvote my husband's writing in our writing prompts to motivate him to continue to write. My mother's last words. As she lay dying in our house where I'm scared. This has f-ked me up. Bad. Don't know how I'm going to survive now without stepdad. Died Saturday. Things just hurt so much. I have no motivation to do anything. I do the same thing every day so I get bored. But then I can't be bothered to start doing something productive. I've got PTSD from when my mom choked the shit out of me at age 7. I thought I deserved it. Since my divorce, I don't really want a relationship. I date some and keep it casual and had one actual girlfriend for 3 months and it was pure hell. My family doesn't get it. But I really like doing the dad and kids thing. I went to counseling in case it was some carryover issues from my marriage. But it seems I just like being on my own. I'm scared that won't change long term. I don't want to end up alone after my kids grow out of the home. But I just can't get on board to doing the relationship bit and don't see that changing anytime soon. Many years back my childhood cat got dementia. Some days he was perfectly fine, other days he stood in corners and peed himself all day cause he didn't know where he was or how to get out of the corner. After a while we gave up on hoping he'd get better, and the day we scheduled the appointment he had a good day and my mother couldn't bear bringing him to the vet, so she asked me. I drove him to the vet close by and the doctor didn't care about our cat. He had to inject more of whatever they use 6 times and halfway through the cat started twitching and struggling. It took ages until it was all over and I couldn't drive home afterwards. When I came home I pretended everything was fine and have never told anyone because it would break my family's heart even more. I've cut off all ties with family and friends to be alone for the rest of my life. I've honestly been the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. My mother was afraid of death. On the day she died, 5 different doctors told me there was no hope, and there wasn't. They also told me she couldn't be aware of what's going on. She would open her eyes when she heard me. I asked her several times if she wanted off the vent, and she'd nod. I'd clarify that this would mean it was her time to go, and she wouldn't answer anyway. After several hours of watching a team of nurses work on her while she was circling the drain, I gave the consent. Her last action was one of fear. I am fully convinced that she was completely aware of what was happening for at least 15 seconds, even with a large morphine dose. She grasped at me with her hands as though she were trying to cling to life. I've had many nightmares about it. Edit. Whoa. I didn't even expect anyone to see this. Your kind words are greatly appreciated. Edit 2. Whoa. Thank you for the reward. That I'm afraid to get married because I don't have many friends that would come to the wedding. I'm afraid I don't know how to get excited about stuff anymore. I can't really tell my friends or family. My friends know me as a perpetually happy girl. All smiles and jokes. Always there for them when they need support. My family are nice, but will just not be able to help. Nothing is bringing me joy anymore. And I feel like I am steadily losing touch with the world around me. I try to pursue my hobbies, and I just feel nothing from them anymore. Nothing grabs me and enthralls me with passion anymore. I don't get excited to game, to read, to lockpick, or even to get out of bed. I just don't feel any point in any of it anymore. And there's no one to tell and nothing to really do about it. I was on a local game show and the answers to the questions were written in the back of the card. I could read every answer. I do Kegels whenever I'm waiting at a stoplight. Still stupidly in love with my ex, Barbara. I'm 30 and still a virgin. I met my partner around Christmas time. He's 32 and I'm 28. He was a virgin. We dated for 4 months before we had sex because I have a habit of unhealthy sexual relationships. He didn't pressure me and that's truly changed how I've perceived relationships. I know that he won't cheat on me. Plus I get to teach him all the things that I enjoy and he isn't coming with too many bad practices. It's gonna be 8. As a kid, I blew up my hearing aid in the microwave trying to dry it when it got wet. I'm tired all the time. The kind of tired where I'm over everything and if I were to die or get killed I'd be okay with it. I introduced my friend to the medication I'm pretty sure ultimately killed her. But we have no proof. I am playing a Russian roulette in these comments. I've heard of the horse F-King guy at least 3 times already. But still haven't seen it. Every comment I read gets me closer. But I don't know when it will come. I'm 29 years old and for the first time in my life I don't hate myself anymore. That Reddit is also a data collecting site. Anyone who just tuned in, a guy F'd a horse in this thread. Friends and co-workers know me as someone who always dresses nicely. But I don't do it out of any genuine love for fashion. Just trying to compensate for feeling below average attractive. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to die alone and potentially young. It's making it hard for me to care about planning for anything in the long term. I do a job that requires me to follow very specific rules, but it's damn near impossible to do properly. I make the data work each time to complete my job. It's a don't ask don't tell thing from my boss. It's a blue collar job. Never told anyone. I was sexually assaulted a few years ago. In prison serving time for a non-violent drug offense. I'm a guy. I was assaulted by a guy. Maybe RP is the proper classification for what transpired. I have never. And I don't know that I could ever tell anyone about it. I have attachment anxiety. I probably shouldn't date until I resolve this. Tie for the gold. I hope this can help someone else try to work through their problems. I look at pictures of horrific crime scenes as a way to ground myself and be thankful that I don't have to see or experience of that dark side of humanity in person. I don't enjoy gore at all. In fact, it puts a lump in my throat every time I see these awful images. But it makes me realize how good I have it that that's not something I have to see eye roll. Puts everything into perspective now. It also reminds me of how fragile the human body is. How easy it is for any of us to just be a part of an accident, and before you know it, a life is gone. All those years of memories and experiences and love and loss and pain and triumph just to end up as a lifeless crumpled bag of skin, meat and bone. I can't share this with anyone I actually know though, because everyone would look at me like I was a serial killer. Mayo. I genuinely feel like most of my friends have forgotten about me. I've talked my experience before, but I was a victim of accidental cannibalism, which means I have eaten human. The incident involves what I assume was some cartel trying to get rid of bodies by cooking them and serving as food for people to buy. Sweeney Todd style. I used to love that food until the news came out. Now I have this really incredible story I can't share with anyone because it's f***ed up. And even if I share it, who is going to believe it? I know the secret Bush family recipe. I regret reading the comments section. My girlfriend always asks me about my exes and I avoid it because she was my first at age of 25. I'm a normal, educated, successful guy that sometimes like to wear women's clothes. I broke my instrument by accidentally shutting it in the door while trying to get away from my bandmate who had his dick out and was running around trying to RP me. This was middle school. In the band hall with no one else around. My band director just thought I was an idiot. My sister-in-law's sister and I hooked up at her bachelorette party. That's my brother's wife's sister if you're confused. I'm also a woman, so it's a bit more of a scandal than your usual wedding shenanigans. On my Instagram. Sometimes I add everyone to my close friends list and post an appreciation story privately to let people know that I'm glad they're all here. I love the impact the pandemic is having. I'm sad that people are dying. But as someone who is working myself to the bone or commuting to work, being forced to stop everything and spend all my time at home gave me so much more time with my family and doing what I enjoy. Unemployment is enough that I can survive, so suddenly I am financially okay. But without a lot of suffering. I am absolutely dreading having to go back and don't think I can without dealing with serious impact to my well-being. That I am horribly lonely and depressed. I have social anxiety and am an introvert. So meeting people is difficult. Hating myself doesn't help any. And I wish I would just die. But unfortunately I'm too much of a chicken to do anything about that last part. I'm kinda scared of posting photos on internet. Deep down I feel like I don't really want or need any friends. It's not that I don't like the friends I have or have horrible friends. They're all solid relationships. But sometimes I go a week or two without answering my messages and realize that I don't actually enjoy speaking to anyone or having regular contact. I hate the pressure of replying to messages or speaking to people about their lives, which is incredibly selfish of me. And I feel as though the only real emotional attachment I have to anyone is my mother, brother, sister and myself. I feel burdened by any other form of emotional investment, but what kind of f***ing bitch would I be to just cut off every single one of my friends for no other reason than I just don't care that much. I also don't understand why I feel like this, because like I said, they're strong friendships, some of which I've had for at least 10 years. For reference, I'm 27. Also, I desperately miss cocaine. How much I actually weigh and how much this one piece of info has weighed on me. Edit. I don't want to be in a relationship right now because I finally have a chance to figure out who I am as a person on my own. As soon as I start seeing someone, that's over. Then I have to deal with someone else's feelings, wants and needs alongside my own. I'm 26 and I finally have this chance. And I'm damned if I'm going to waste it. I'm scared to talk to girls. I cuddle my pillow when I sleep every night. It's a long V pillow. Basically I use it like a body pillow. Little embarrassing. Edit. I like girls too much to be considered a straight woman. My wife of 13 years is cheating on me. She hasn't physically had sex with anyone, or met for that matter, but she is chatting with men online. I gained access to her email, Facebook, phone, etc. without her knowing. Here's the kicker. I don't want to tell her I know because our sex life is now through the f***ing roof. We went from 1-2 times a month to now 4-5 times per week. Also, some of the men she's talking to online, well, she's actually talking to me. I found out she's on Tinder, so I made a fake Tinder account and we matched. Been talking to her for a few weeks, asking her all sorts of crazy shit she's done, etc. I also made a Craigslist ad through activity partners and she responded to it. It's like that Pina Colada song. My dick is bent. Sometimes, when I'm feeling real lonely, I'll get out my binoculars and watch you through my window. I'm a celibate 22-year-old virgin by choice. Sometimes I feel like this isn't something I can even share with online strangers because I feel like they'd just call me an incel or make fun of me. It's not that I can't get sex, date or anything. It's just that I don't want to have sex with another person. Fantasy wise, the thought is appealing, but in practice, just puts me off. I can't even label myself as Zul because I do experience Zul feelings and I have a desire to act on them, but at the same time I don't. I used to purposely cover my ex-GF's mouth with my hand during sex because I found her moans to be slightly annoying and would kind of distract me to the point where it was sort of hard to finish. Mom molested me, I'm a girl, from when I was age 9 until she died a couple years later. Dad knew but didn't do anything about it. Dad passed away but I never brought it up with him. I've never told anyone except my therapist. None of my friends or family know. I'm afraid they'll love me less if they knew how broken I am. I only buy lingerie to walk around my condo so the neighbors can see. I've gone so far as to masturbate on my balcony underneath my robe. I love the thrill it brings me. Checked post history. Nothing good. My life is pretty okay. I have a kind of shitty past, but it's not the worst. I've actually felt pretty happy lately, but I still sometimes just sit and vividly think about hanging myself. The thoughts don't scare me. They feel really comforting. Like I have the opportunity to tap out anytime I want. I think the only reasons I haven't done it yet is because I don't want to bring that kind of pain to the ones who love me. I'm afraid to end up alone. Sometimes I think about going back to my ex-husband just because I'm afraid no one else will ever love me and I don't want to be alone forever. That I will never succeed cause sometimes I feel that I don't have chances in the outside world. Edit. Thanks to all the people that were so wholesome. Weird turn of events, I just landed my first job in an electronics shop. I'm not suicidal as in I would never harm myself, but sometimes I just want the pain to end and I think about it. Trigger warning. At 15 there was a man, 68, who used to sexually assault me after church or coffee shop. If I didn't go it would have been very strange as I always went without missing a day. If I refused to leave with him when he only offered me a lift home, people wouldn't believe me. They all knew him so well. It was like clockwork. Every day, I'd get up to go to hell and lie with a smile when I got back. One girl had suspicions and called the police, which again I lied. Nothing was wrong, and I was fine. People knew I had just left an abusive relationship, so I played it was all on that and I needed space. Most people knew about my father getting drunk and sexually assaulting me. So the story? No one would believe me again. Sometimes, your story has to be a diary because those who are in it might just end up writing it.